Single parents, what's your best dating story? He said he hated surprises, so I knew keeping my secret was going to be impossible. The words echoed in my head every time I looked at Marcus across whatever cheap venue I'd suggested for our latest date. I'd been seeing him for about 3 months now, and every single day felt like walking a tightrope over a canyon of lies. Everything was perfect. His laugh when I made terrible jokes, the way he listened intently when I rambled about work drama, how he remembered I liked my coffee with oat milk. Everything was perfect except for one tiny massive detail. I hadn't told him I was completely broke, like choosing between groceries and gas broke, like eating ramen for dinner 5 nights a week and pretending it was a lifestyle choice broke. I kept declining his fancy dinner suggestions with increasingly creative excuses. Oh, I'm trying this new intermittent fasting thing. Or, I'm actually craving something casual tonight. Instead, I'd counter with coffee shops, suggesting we meet at the little place downtown with the chipped mugs and reasonable prices. When he wanted weekend trips to wine country, I'd manufacture sudden work obligations. The weird part, he never seemed to mind. Never pushed when I deflected, never acted frustrated when I suggested another walk in the park instead of dinner at that steakhouse. He'd show up with homemade sandwiches wrapped in brown paper for our park dates, suggesting free museum days he'd researched online. He even started bringing elaborate picnic spreads to our coffee dates when the cafe was too crowded. I was falling hard, tumbling headfirst into something that felt too good to be real. But I knew I'd have to come clean eventually. A guy like Marcus, successful lawyer with the business cards to prove it, sleek black car that smelled like leather, clothes that looked like they came from stores I could only window shop at, wouldn't understand dating someone who counted quarters for parking meters. Then my car broke down. Not just a little hiccup, but completely, utterly dead in the grocery store parking lot. The mechanic's estimate hit me like a physical blow. $800 I absolutely didn't have. $800 that might as well have been $8 million. I called Marcus crying, ready to confess everything. The empty bank account, the maxed out credit cards, the way I'd been living on hope and fumes for months. I was ready to lose him. He picked me up within 20 minutes, sliding up to the curb where I sat on the hood of my dead Honda, looking like a refugee from my own life. "Don't worry about the car," he said as I climbed into the passenger seat. "We'll figure something out." I started my carefully rehearsed broke confession speech, but he interrupted me before I could get past. "Marcus, there's something I need to tell you about my financial situation." "Sarah, I need to tell you something. I've been pretending too." His knuckles were white on the steering wheel, and for the first time since I'd known him, he looked nervous. The truth spilled out like water through a broken dam. Marcus had been laid off 6 months ago when his firm downsized. The fancy car, his cousin's, borrowed indefinitely while his own sat in the shop with a transmission problem he couldn't afford to fix. The expensive clothes, thrift store finds, and clearance rack treasures. He was just as broke as me, scraping by on unemployment and freelance work, but too proud to admit it. We both started laughing first, the kind of hysterical laughter that comes when the universe reveals its sense of humor. Then we were crying, relief and embarrassment and something that might have been joy all mixing together. Then we were laughing again, clutching each other in the front seat like we'd just survived something together. It's 3 years later now, and we're still broke together. But we just bought our first house with our combined terrible credit and the steady paycheck from his new job at a legal aid clinic. He still brings homemade sandwiches to our dates, and I still suggest free museum days because we've discovered we genuinely love them. The difference is now we split the quarters for parking, counting them out together like the treasure they are.